Hello traders, good morning, noon, afternoon, evening. How are you today? Very good. Great to hear that. Thank you very much. I'm good. Waiting for some good trading opportunities, yeah. But very good. Non-farm payrolls week, important to remind, right? So we are in a bit more conservative mode, right? Waiting for the setups, good setups to confirm, good setups to create the opportunities for us and trade them when they're there. We don't have too many changes since yesterday. There are a few things I want to go over, and mainly to see how you guys react in live conditions for specific situations on the chart. Okay, I would like to start with you're okay with the euro pound. Now, euro pound, we said that we can easily get it going towards the 090, 091 zone to recreate for us the further sell, right? The bottom line for us was if there is no a sell sign, which there was no two candles or any kind of divergence or anything like that, we can look to buy dips. Now I have a question for you. By saying that, and by saying that this is our invalidation, right? Sorry, this was the invalidation, the only trend line for the invalidation which was valid. We are looking on that. We are developing a bullish hidden divergence right here. On that point, it was starting to develop. What do we do in that case? If we are not short yet and we do accept the buys and we have a bullish hidden divergence, what do we do in that case, guys? Who can help me? I need your help today, so please be active, think about that, and let's make it a bit more interactive, because I want to see how you deal with these situations live when they happen. Exactly. Thank you very much. So once we have the 4-hour chart bullish hit, and we drop to the 1-hour chart, looking for the divergence to form there. Now I have a question for you. This was the divergence that formed right here. And this is the double cycle. Is that valid? Yes or no? For buys, of course, right? Because the 4-hour chart bullish hidden, no signs against us, completed nowhere. Is that a valid entry? Yes or no? You want to zoom in? I am zooming in. What do you think, guys? No two candle rules. Really? Where? Why not? This and this apply for the two candles rules. Okay? So why not? Which means we had wave number 1, wave number 2, wave number 3. Right? So we have the ABCD, correct? Exactly. So it's correct, which means this is an entry. We can go with the current momentum on the short term as long as the higher time frames do not have signs against us. Now, that was the 4-hour chart bullish hidden divergence developing, which means we need to check on the daily chart if we have signs against us. Do we have anything completed against us? Do we have any divergence against us that was completed? Do we have anything that formed for us saying us don't sell? No. We only have this level of the cycle telling us be ready for the future sell, ideally from here, right? That's all. That's the only thing that we have, meaning that on the short term, this is where the short term comes in play. We have no signs against it from the higher time frame. We have the current momentum with the bullish hidden divergence that was forming right here, and the 1 hour chart that completed on the same place, on the same low, which makes it 100% acceptable entry. Currently it's running. I don't think we have even one-to-one risk reward yet. We have no divergence against us really yet. Once we have the one-to-one or divergence against us, stop loss is moving to entry, and this becomes a risk-free trade. And I want to remind you, according to the daily cycle, 090 up to 091 are acceptable levels for the buys. Well, as long as we don't have the signs against us to stop looking for this rally. Okay, guys? Understandable? Is that correct? That's always the questions I want you to ask yourself. And as we said yesterday in the Euro Pound, we are basically in the short-term trading here. Why? Because for the long term, we will be looking for the sells. So we want these little pushes to continue. We want the setup for us for sell to be created. Currently, we have nothing. No false breaks, no 3 waves down, no convergence, nothing. Therefore, the pressure is still bullish. Okay? Okay, that's all. So that's the breakout. And this is the entry, the sorry, 089.10 level with the breakout. That's all. Protection, of course, below this low. So it's relevant as long as it goes, and it's valid as long as this trend line holds. Very simple. Will that work? Will that pay? We don't know that in advance. Never, ever. The only thing which I always keep telling you guys that we do is the best starting point. That's the only difference between profitable traders and non-profitable traders. The entry points, the timing, the best starting point. From this moment forward, it's all game of the statistics. One time it can work, one time it can fail. That's where you keep your risk reward. That's where you are breaking even when you have the chance to move to break even. That's where you increase your chances to end up profitable dramatically. That's the trading. Okay, that's for the Euro Pound. Now, my next question for you guys is coming from the Euro Aussie. Okay, we said we are looking for the sell. Meaning, we need 2 false breaks and convergence to the downside, or 3 waves down, 2 waves up, breakout. Do we have the 2 false breaks and convergence formed here? We discussed about it yesterday, right? A bit. Now I want to see the answers. Right? Did we have the 2 false breaks with a convergence? Exactly, that is 1 false break. Now let's assume we had 2. Let's even assume we have these lower lows. Is that a convergence in that place? No, exactly. What does it mean, guys? Now look how tempting it is. Let's admit it. How tempting it is to go and to attack it here. It's extremely tempting, right? Oh, well, don't worry about it. Don't worry. If you're new to the terms, just follow up what the guy's answer, or where do I lead it, okay? It takes some time. You'll figure it out. Okay, so what does it mean, guys? If we have this condition, it's extremely tempting to go for a sell, but then we figure out it's not a convergence. What do? We simply don't trade. And even if that was a convergence that we can say like, hey, but you know, maybe yes, maybe yes. Where you have your doubts, and this is exactly the time to become a bit more conservative, which means very simple. Very simple. Wait for two waves pullback and a breakout. That's all. That's the only way you can operate in that conditions. It happened, you can deal with that. It did not happen, you cannot. As simple as that. Okay? Currently, it did not happen, which means the Euro Aussie was and remains on the list for us. We are waiting for that. We have the levels. We have one good confirmation with this divergence and everything, right? But we don't have the sells. Now, this is a good question, Costa. So if we don't have the sells, can we go for buys? And I answered that yesterday. I wouldn't, only for the reason because all the cycles are on the same place. And we have divergence everywhere, weekly, daily, 4 hours. So to deal with it on the 1 hour, it's, from my point of view, it's not smart. You have all the time frames leading to the same level with the same divergence. From my point of view, that's too risky. We did accept the buys on these scenarios when the divergence was developing, as you remember, a few weeks ago. But now I don't think it's smart. Yes, it can ideally get another false break for us and everything like that, but I don't think it's smart because you are dealing now against all the time frames levels and divergences. I skip such situations. Good. So we figured that out, guys. Now, what about the EuroCAD? We said we are looking for the sells. Do we have a sell reason for the EuroCAD already? Which means two false breaks and convergence. Very simple. Do we have it? On the 4-hour chart, it's obvious. None. On the EuroCAD, did we have any? Exactly. Nothing. Do we have a reason to go for buy? Yes or no? Now here's the trick. This is exactly where it's tricky, and I want you to think about it, guys. Here. Do we have a reason to go for buys? Look at this one. Let's assume this is a bullish hidden, right? So let's like this. So the angle is here, bullish hidden. If we want the bullish hidden to be formed and get us the confirmation to ride the trend, what is the question we are asking ourselves? If the higher time frame does not show divergence against us. Very simple, because we want to ride the trend in that case, right? If we want to ride the trend, we need to make sure we don't have anything against us. Let's jump to the 4-hour chart and ask this question. Do we have a divergence against us? Yes or no? Yes. What does it mean? Is the 1-hour chart a good buy right now? Yes or no? No. Beautiful. Do you see that, guys? All the questions you ask yourself, all the questions you are asking yourself should be the same. Because I'll explain why it's so important to ask yourself the questions, because the eye is catching the opportunity right away, right? The eye is not looking for the validity. The eye is looking for the reason to trade. The eye is never looking, and also the brain, the eye and the brain, they never are looking for the reason why not to trade. right? We have to force it. We have to ask this question. So the eye is catching all the reasons why yes to trade. Make sense? That's what happens. That's how it goes. The eye is first of all reacting to why yes to trade. And for that, the eye will always find a reason. It could be a trend line, it could be a support resistance, Fibonacci retrace, bullish candle, whatever it is, right? It could be a bullish divergence, everything. It could be tons of things. Whatever the strategy we use, the eye is catching the yes. The eye is not catching the no. So we need to. This is what we call an excitement. Yeah, that's where it becomes very exciting. Think about it this way: you didn't see a person for a while, a person you love for a while, and then suddenly you are going on the street without booking any appointment, and you see someone looking exactly the same. What is your first reaction? Like, I can't believe it. And then you are looking closer and you say, oh no, it's not him or her, right? Same here. The eye is catching, first of all, the excitement. The excitement is always the reason why yes to trade, why to be involved in the trade. And then this is exactly where you, as a trader, have to stop for a second and ask yourself a question. What, valid or not? Very, very simple, guys. Ask yourself this question. Valid or not? The answer you get would be according to the rules of the specific thing you are looking at. If it's a hidden divergence like we did on the 1 hour chart, perfect. We want to ride a trend. If we want to ride a trend, we have to make sure we have no reasons against us, meaning there are no stop signs for the trend. That's all. If there are, this situation is untradeable. So how do we approach to that? Very simple. We are waiting for the 4 hour chart to give us the sign. So we want the 4 hour chart drop and bullish hidden divergence to form. Once it did, then we can drop to the 1 hour chart and buy. Or the alternative is always go to the 1 hour chart, get ourselves 1, 2, and then start looking for further buys. That's all. That's the only options for us. If none of them happened, what do? We never force. The easiest thing to do in that cases is to force, is to get excited. Right? Kostas, go to the 4 hour chart and ask yourself the question. You know the answer. Ask yourself the question, do you have your 2 candles valid, yes or no? And then you get yourself the answer. But even if not, this is your warning sign that something is happening against you. And this could be the time that it does all these zigzags we always try to avoid, right? Where these zigzags come? Where these zigzags come from? From these reasons exactly. All these situations where you see situations like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down on the same day are coming on that places against you. All right? That's all. Now, for statistics, let's check this out. The only problem I have with the statistics yet is basically, well, yeah, 6. It's perfect. It's wow. It's awesome. The only problem I have with that, we have no divergence and no level on a daily chart. 4 hour chart also still without the confirmations. That's the only problem I have with the statistical day. Statistics by itself means nothing, right? There always has to be the confirmation, the reason. And we currently don't have it. Right? So yeah, statistically it's amazing, but it seems not ready yet. Okay? So that's all. That's for the EuroCAD, guys. Is that okay? Always, the reason I'm showing that basically is, as I said, we don't have really nothing changed in terms of the cycles. There are few things happen during this day from yesterday to today that I want to cover. I want to cover these conditions that you are dealing with live. How do you make the right decision live? That's why I'm showing you that, and I want you to answer these questions. Okay, so we check the euro pound, we check the euro CAD, and the euro AUD. Now let me ask you for the Kiwi CAD. We were waiting for the rally, exactly. We got it, we got it. We got another high. The daily cycle is still relevant. Daily divergence is still potential. Developing 4-hour chart cycle by itself. Developing. How good can that be, right? We are next to the 0894.95 for a while, and we are waiting for the setup. Do we have the setup, yes or no? In order to go against higher time frame trend line, we need to get 2 false breaks and convergence, or 3 waves down push, 2 waves up retrace, and sell. Do we have any false break on the 4-hour chart on the current place? No. Do we have any false breaks on the 1-hour chart on the current place? Yes or no? The answer would be, again, no. Do we have any reason to go short here? Yes or no? The answer would be no. Do we have any reason to long it here? Exactly as explained yesterday. No. Why would you? There are no 2 waves retraces, there is no bullish hidden divergence, and we are next to the daily level. So just to jump in, why? The chances to be right are smaller than the chances to be wrong, because on that conditions many times we start to get a zigzag, we start to get these situations, right? That's what we call the clearance. That's where the clearance happens. On the places the traders tell themselves, damn, I missed the first train, I have to join, I just have to join. That's what traders tell themselves, right? And then we are forcing just not to miss, right? And remember the very good saying about these situations, guys, never regret trades you missed. We will have enough time to regret trades we didn't miss. Right? Just for the joke, of course. So never try to catch the train when it's going against you, especially if it's on a speed run, like in that case. There is no reason for a buy. There is no bullish hidden divergence on the 4-hour chart, not on the 1-hour chart. Everything goes straight. Well, in that place. Before that, of course, we had, but it was from the previous week. Right? On this week, it's straight. If it's straight, nothing we can do. As simple as that. Not trading is also a trading decision. Remember that. Ask yourself why not to trade, not why yes to trade. Okay? Next one, guys, I want to go over pound franc. I had a question from William in this morning. William, are you here? I didn't have a chance to reply you on Telegram yet. If you are here, William, yep, here you are. Yeah, thank you. William noticed something very, very correct, which I showed wrong yesterday, about the validity of this bigger triple cycle. 100% correct, and William, thank you very much for that. So I want to correct that. It's not valid third leg for these 2 big candles. One red, second red. The validity of this cycle is here, is in this triple descending, 1, 2, 3. That's where it formed. This is acting and behaving as a possible false break for ending of this cycle, which means building up a potential range. So the cycle is not on this, the cycle was here, ending with the first false break and providing the second false break, bringing the possibility for the range. William, is that okay? Guys, is that okay? Just wanted to clear that and explain that because that was correct. That's not valid trend line on the 4-hour chart. That was the first one. That's the second false break forming right here. Okay? And the divergence we have still lasts only on the moving average on the big view. Okay, so the pound franc did not change nothing. We accept short-term retraces, and look what is forming now, guys, not on the 1 hour chart but on the intraday. Look what is forming here. We have a cross here, the way it's forming. This is a triple cycle, which means if we have 2 waves down, we can start looking for, again, short-term buys. Up to where, I want to remind you the bigger picture here, guys, because the 4 hour chart, the way it looks right now, right, we do accept pullbacks up to a possible range. So it could make the rallies up to here. Easy. All right. For the longer term, we can, of course, accept further continuation as we expected from the previous week. There's a zone of 128 actually, or slightly lower, before the long-term rallies come back. But on the short term, these retraces are acceptable, are in play. We also have a bullish false break and the divergence. Okay? So that's for the pound franc. Short-term retraces are acceptable. The way to deal with them would be to get 2 waves down and look for the possible buys. Now I have a question for you here, guys. Here is my question. This is a bearish hidden divergence on the 4 hour chart. Is that valid for sell, yes or no? Well, I will ask my question differently. We accept this 1 leg sell if we, on the higher time frames, we have no signs against us. Let's figure that out on the daily chart. Do we have signs against us, yes or no? Beautiful. Of course, yes. That's a bullish divergence. That's a bullish divergence. 2 candles rule of this divergence not in play, but it is a divergence. It doesn't mean we go long for the long term based of this divergence, but it is a bullish warning sign, which means we require a bearish hidden divergence to form on a daily or 2 waves on the 4 hour chart. So if we get the 2 waves on the 4 hour chart, then and only then 4 hour chart becomes valid for sell. Is that okay, guys? Do you understand here the explanation or not really? These are the questions to ask ourselves always. Okay? Always. And now, because it's not valid for sell, I want to show you how the market is trying to tell you, be careful. Let's assume, just assume, that we got tempted here and we want to go for sell. We drop to the 1 hour chart. Do we have a confirmation of a divergence here? No. Well, we have a 1 hour chart hidden divergence. So hidden in hidden. In that case, 15 minutes must be a divergence on this place. If we drop to the 15 minutes, do we have divergence here? No. You see that, guys? Do you see where the warning sign from the market is coming? The market is telling us, hey, buddy, it's not valid. Don't force it. It's too easy to do that and force a sell and then be surprised why it's not working. Or force a sell here and then be surprised why it's not working. Okay, guys, make sense? Wanted to show you that because that's exactly what I always say. Listen to the market and ask yourself these questions, little questions, before you want to act and move to the next step. Always ask yourself the question, is what I did just now valid? For valid, there are special conditions. Two candles rule, the validity of the false break, divergence. It's the same. The complex of the things is always the same. Always the same. Just be responsible enough to ask yourself these questions. Okay, cat franc, no action yet. We have the divergence. We are waiting for the false break to form. Now, note, guys, on the cat franc, we did have the false break before. We might get this false break completed. The divergence is there in terms of the moving averages, of course, between the big spots. That would be super aggressive because we don't have yet higher highs. Okay, so in that case, if we have the false break, we have the aggressive approach, which means waiting for two waves retrace on the 1 hour chart, and then the breakout could give us the okay to go up. But first of all, the false break must confirm here. Currently, it didn't. What will happen? We don't know. Keep that in your eyes, because the weekly bullish hidden is in play. The daily divergence is forming. When it's going to be completed, who knows? Who knows? That's why we have the watch list for. We must get it confirmed. Well, at least on the aggressive view. Okay? Dollar franc. Now, dollar franc, what do we have here? Dollar franc. Did we have the bearish hidden divergence on the 4 hour chart to continue with this sell, with the ongoing possible reversal? No. Do we have two waves down to buy? No. One hour chart, bearish divergence for a sell. You mean this one? Yep. Well, in this place, this is 100% correct. In this place, it's 100% correct. Basically, what you are doing is you are squeezing. You had two waves up on the 4 hour chart. This was broken. You are waiting for the two waves retrace, correct? Two waves retrace on the 1 hour chart and go for a sell. 100% correct. You got yourself the 1-to-1 risk reward. And what do we do in that case? Right? What do we do in that case? Exactly, moving to break even or cashing out. Well, honestly, in the non-farm payrolls week, I always prefer to take the money, and you know that. It's not a secret. On non-farm payrolls week, the zigzags are so brutal sometimes that for me, making the money is a very, very important thing. Okay, so that's all. Well, how you manage that's according to your own system, right? Your own management. But the 1-to-1 risk reward reached, stop loss reached to break even. If you didn't cash out, this is closed on break even, game over. That's all. Do we have any new reason for the sell? No, we don't. No, do we have any reason for the buy? Also, we don't. So basically, yeah, for the question, is that correct? 100% yes. And I want to explain again why yes, because as we said, we are in possible range. False break on the bottom, false break on the top. We got the two waves broken here on the previous week. The stop loss was big, so we said we are waiting for the two waves retrace. So we got confirmation after the breakout. We got the two waves retrace here. That was the last trend line, the last divergence. Beautiful combination. trend line was broken, one-to-one risk reward reach, stop loss to break even, or cash out. All depends on the management and the system you use, right? For the Scorpio traders in that case, could hit the take profit, of course. For the SRS trader in that case, for example, cannot cash out in that place. That's all. It all depends on the system. If it's manual system, manual management. Okay, great. Next one, and basically the last one I have on my list, and then I want to cover your list, guys. Aussie dollar. We said we are technically right bearish as long as we hold this trend line. We are still below the trend line. 4-hour chart is creating for us bearish hidden divergence. 1-hour chart is creating for us the two waves retrace. Do we have a divergence to confirm the 1-hour chart ending cycle, yes or no? On this place? No, right? Where is the only divergence that is valid for us? On the bigger view, on this one. Right? On the 161.8. That's the only place where we have the divergence in play for us. This one. But where is the trend line that has to be broken? This one. Well, that's pretty much far away. If we break that right now here, the stop loss on 1-hour chart is going to be above 100 pips. That's ridiculous, right? For the 1-hour chart. It is ridiculous, exactly. So currently, do we have any reason for an action? No. So we either improve the trend line, which means something like that, make the divergence, and then boom, looking for the setup. Or if we crush and break this trend line that we mentioned before, we are looking for two waves retrace, exactly like Kostas showed with the dollar franc, and improve ourselves the entry and the risk management. That's all. Okay, guys, very simple. Very, very simple. Now let me ask you this question. How easy it is to force a trading here? How easy it is? How many times would you do that in the past just because it looks good? This is where the control is so important. This is where the control is so important. Wait for the right time, okay? Wait for the right time. Wait for the right time. That's the only difference between traders and analysts. Analysts can always find the reason why to trade. Trader is waiting for the setup. Setup, 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 setup. That's the game. 3-step trading. Level, confirmation, setup. Remember that, guys. Okay. Rajiv, pound Aussie. Sure. Pound Aussie, we are bearish as long as we are below 180. Right? That's the bottom line for us, which means we are looking for the two waves up, bearish divergence to be created, and trend line to be broken. This is what we have, right? That's the only place where we have it, a divergence in that place for the view high. The problem with that is the stop loss. Look at this stop loss. That's again 100 points on the 1-hour chart. And your breakout is a possible bullish divergence. What do we do in that case? The answer is very simple. The answer is very simple. What do we do in that case where there are signs immediately with the breakout? There are signs for us not to take it. What do we wait for? Exactly. Retrace in two waves and another breakout. Or bearish hidden divergence. Retrace, bearish hidden divergence here or here on any of the highs. And then look yourself the confirmation on the lower time frame and attack. Of course, all is valid on this short-term view as long as your top here holds. On the short view, right? The short-term view, because this is your last double wave. Right? Make sense? Very simple. Again, asking ourselves the questions. Do we have the trend line? Breakout, the one we wanted. 1, 2, 3, 4. Broken? Broken. Divergence was there? Was there. Do we have a good reason to enter a sell here with such a big stop loss? No. Do we have signs against us? Yeah. That's immediately a red light, a red bulb telling us, hold on, the conditions are not in your favor. If it's not on my favor, let's improve it. How do we improve it? Very simple. Same things we always do. Two waves retrace or bearish hidden divergence. You got it? You got a new reason to look for this sell. You did not have it? Leave it alone. Very simple. Okay? Perfect. Yet Euro CAD. Let's go back to the Euro CAD. Oh no. 15 minutes false breaks? Oh no. Oh no, why? You are against weekly and daily cycles. How 15 minutes can be in play, my friend? No way. 15 minutes can be in play only if your higher time frames are lined up for the sell. The higher time frames for 15 minutes is 1 hour chart and 4 hour chart. Are they lined up for the sell already? No. Therefore, it cannot be valid anyhow. Okay? Don't get this confused. 15 minutes never ever is in play when the higher time frames are not lined up for you. Perfect. Anything else, guys? What do you want me to cover from your list? Because the things I wanted to share are basically over. Oil, no problem. Oil, we are bearish as long as these stop holding. Oil, we have a bearish hidden divergence on the 4 hour chart and the 1 hour chart trend line. Is that a valid trend line and divergence? Let's check this out together, guys. Is that valid? Check this out. Let me zoom in a bit for you. And I would like to hear some answers. Is that a good sell opportunity? Yes or no? I have 2 no's. Anyone else wants to try? Three no's. Anyone says yes? And here we go. I got 1 yes. So the real answer here, I have 4 no's, 1 yes. Anyone else wants to try before I answer, guys? Alright, we have 2 yeses. 4 no's, 2 yeses. Classical. Yeah, I will check the pairs you asked for, guys. Just let me finish this one, okay? The first one, okay? If for the trend line to be valid, there has to be bearish divergence. Do we have bearish divergence? Yes. For the trend line to be valid, we have to have 2 candles rule in between the spots. This is the correction. Is the correction broke the last 2 candles rule? For that, let's ask ourselves the question, what are the last 2 candles rule in the rally? This is the last high without any doubt. All the other candles are inner, meaning nothing, and this is the last 2 candles rule. Did the correction break below the last 2 candles rule, yes or no? No, it didn't. Therefore, is that a valid trend line, yes or no? Exactly. Here you go. The questions you ask yourself, guys, step by step. The answer is very simple. Well, it's not simple to reach that. It's very simple to ask yourself the question and clean the table. Clean the table from the doubts. Very simple. Meaning there is no validity for the sell. Let me challenge you a bit if you don't mind. How about this one? If we break this one now, is that valid, yes or no? This is a bit more tricky. What do you think, guys? I have better. I have no. 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyone else? 5. We have 2 yeses now, 3 yeses now, and 5 no's. Okay. Let's break it into the conditions. Okay. 6 no's. Okay. What do we have here? In order for that to be a valid trend line, there has to be divergence for what we connect. This is not divergence, not a valid divergence as we said, because we have no 2 candles in display, right? Therefore, the divergence must be before that. Do we have a divergence here? No, we don't. It's a higher high. Therefore, you change your mind. That's good. To change your mind is very, very important thing to be able to do. But the bottom line is there is no divergence between the bigger highs that we just checked. Therefore, this trend line is not ready for a sell. Therefore, the oil has simply no reason for a sell yet. If it doesn't have a reason for sell, do we have a reason for buy? Would you buy here, guys, as long as the bearish cycle is still on and the bigger trend line still holding? Would you buy here, yes or no? Exactly, no. Beautiful. And here you got yourself the answers you need. There is no reason for a trade right now. How tempting it is. Let's admit how tempting it is. Oh, extremely tempting. Extremely tempting. Is that really good to be taken? No. What do we do in that case? Put it back to the waiting list. That's all. That's the right decision to do. Can that work? Yes. Can that fail? Yes. Do we trade probabilities or do we trade facts? We trade facts. The fact is, there is no setup to trade. As simple as that. Okay, guys? Perfect. Let me scroll back to see the pairs you asked for. Dollar CAD. Sure, dollar CAD. Let's take the look. Dollar CAD. Dollar CAD, we were bullish up to 130, 131. Well, 130 was actually reached today. Right? Perfect. In order for that to stop, we need false breaks and convergence. On the 4-hour chart, we have none. On the 1-hour chart, we have... No, we don't have a false break here. We do have... No, we don't. We don't have a false break here, and we don't have the false break here. No, nothing. Do we have any reason for a sell already? If we have no false breaks, no convergence, no 3+2. Currently nothing. Which means it still remains bullish. So if we get the 2 waves here, we can still looking for the buys. 131 could still go and be in play. Okay? That's all. Very simple. The reaction currently, simply due to the level, the divergence, and the psychological zone. Nothing more than that. Is that a valid setup for a trade? No. It's a good valid setup for gambling, not for a trade. Okay, like a scalping for a bounce. Nothing more than that. Okay, so that's for the dollar Canadian. I would do nothing with this one currently. And for the buy, by the way, how do we approach for the buy here? Since the last divergence was bearish on the 4-hour chart, the last bullish hidden has to be on the 4-hour chart as well. We currently don't have it, therefore it's a waste of time trying to figure out what's going to happen next with this one. Euro yen. Euro yen, we accepted short-term retraces, which happened. We got a 132. Let's see if we reach the at least 38.2 of the retrace. No, we didn't. There is still more reasons for a rally than for a sell. 4-hour chart, well, yes, it's kind of bearish hidden. The slope is terrible for this rally, right? The slope is terrible for this rally. Divergence did not form yet. I wouldn't deal with the question is for sell, Costas, or generally? Currently, we also have no 2 candles rule in here for nothing. The angle is terrible. It's a straight line. The way I see that, it has much more reasons to continue higher, clear this high, maybe even the next high, before it takes off. Before it takes off. Remember, your last divergence against you was bullish from the daily. By ideal, the sell should come after bearish hidden from the daily. We don't have it yet, and the 4-hour chart 2 waves are forming yet. This divergence did not complete yet. Therefore, it's not really safe. Same for the pound yen. Exactly same for the pound yen. 1-to-1. Okay? I'll tell you more than that. We kind of had triple cycle up here. 1, 2, 3. So I would be looking here for 2 waves down and buy. It happens. It's ideal. Why not? Right? That's my view, of course. Okay. Next one was on the list, Aussie Kiwi. Aussie Kiwi, looking for the buys as long as the low holds. Meaning we need 2 waves to the downside for buys. You said Aussie Kiwi, no? Aussie New Zealand. Yeah, that's what I see. Do we have 2 waves down with a bullish divergence? No, not currently. If we have the 2 waves down with a bullish divergence, we can look for the breakout and buys. Yes, we don't have it currently, so we don't trade it currently. Very simple. Okay. All right. Next pair on the list was, yes, only bullish on this. Only bullish due to the bullish double bottom, bullish divergence from daily chart as well. I don't see any reason to sell here, even though it can work, but I wouldn't deal with that. All the higher time frames showing bigger chances for buys than sells. I don't deal against higher time frames. Okay, next question was, where is the next one? Euro Aussie. Asif, Euro Aussie, right? Sorry, Euro dollar. Sorry, Euro dollar. We are still in this range. We were looking for 2 waves up, which are forming right now, and a bearish divergence, which is forming, not formed, forming right now. So let's check this out. What do we have on the higher time frames? Sorry, on the lower time frames for us. We have the level, right? Level number 1. That's the first place for us. And that's the second place for us. Critical zone, also top of the range. Looks good. Looks good. Let's check this out. Going to the 1-hour chart. And here is your answer. Do you have a bearish divergence between the highs here? Yes or no? Well, currently, potentially only on the moving average. The histogram is gone, vanished. Only the moving average could possibly make it. They did not yet. Therefore, no action yet. Agree? We don't know how it's going to complete. Assuming that this trend line would be broken down and your divergence here under huge doubt, get yourself the extra confirmation, the conservative mode, which means 1, 2, and another breakout. Breakout in the breakout. You confirm yourself the momentum you got, you improve yourself the chances. Happened, go with that. Did not happen, let it form something better. Very simple. When you ask yourself the questions, right? Perfect. The next one on the list was Euro. That's all, right? Dollar ILS. Oh, that's one I'm looking to be invested with. My only problem with this one, the reason I'm still not involved, is we had a divergence. It was simply beautiful. This never managed to create higher high. For me, that's still not enough. It was a boom, a possible convergence. Never got it. That's not enough for me to be involved. Yeah, well, it's a very possible inverted cup. Not inverted, actually, it's a normal cup. Yeah, cup of coffee. And now you remind me to go and make my coffee here. 100% agree with you. It could be also made like a head and shoulders here. Beautiful. It's not there yet. It's a possible bullish hidden divergence also for action, but then requires 2 waves on the 4-hour chart, and we don't have it yet. So honestly, I don't see any reason to deal with that. Okay? Very simple. Like, I mean, I am looking to be involved 100%. By ideal, we should get like 3.3 or 3.2. It would be simply stunning with the monthly cycle and another clearance from daily. It would be yummy. I don't see any reason to rush at this stage. I might be wrong. I don't see any reason to jump on nothing here. Okay. Anything else, guys? You want on your list? You have on your list indices, by the way. Okay, it's good time to discuss about it. Indices. We were waiting for a bearish hidden divergence, which we got right here. Very little one, but a bearish hidden divergence. That's a Dow. To confirm that, we need to go to the 1-hour chart and ask ourselves, do we have a trend line here with a bearish divergence? Bearish divergence we have, valid divergence we don't have, 2 candles rule, trend line we don't have, game over. Game is over. Between these highs of the divergence of the trend line, we don't have divergence, game is over. There is no reason to look for sells yet. DAX. We were looking for a bearish hidden divergence. Formed. We need to confirm that from the 1-hour chart. Do we have 2 waves here with a bearish divergence? Yes or no? The answer is no. Which means, do we have a reason for sell already, guys? No, we don't. Game over. Very simple. Question to be asked, answer to be taken. Facebook. Sure, Facebook, the idea is the same for us, right? We are looking for sells as long as this top holds. We are looking for 2 waves up or bearish hidden divergence on an ongoing trend. Do we have a bearish hidden divergence here? No. Right? So basically, we're still running this break of the trend line. We are bearish as long as this top holds. On the 1-hour chart, we have no 2 waves retraces. On the 4-hour chart, no 2 waves retraces. On the 4-hour chart, and the reason I'm looking for the 4-hour chart is because we are joining daily and weekly cycles. We have nothing new to form in terms of divergences, meaning no new entries. That's all. Anything? Oh, guys, this is what I wanted to show you. OMG. It's not like standing for oh my god. It's standing for the beautiful crypto opportunities we have here. Triple up, double down, mark yourself the levels which are lying down here. And we have beautiful magnet zones. 1, 2, 3. That's our trend line. After achieving, and this is the bullish divergence forming. This is the trend line to be broken after we get a bounce from any of the magnet zones and our expectations. Keep an eye on this one. It looks beautiful. Last one, which I'm hungry for, is the Ethereum versus the Bitcoin. You remember this one? I explained many times why I'm hungry for this one. I want to see that broken. I want to see that ideally pulling back and buy. The chances to get here a monster are huge. Risk reward on that is possibly amazing. The chances here to have a fake breakout and another false break are also big, but it's all about the risk reward here. The risk reward is a monster. Trin, Litecoin, you love this one, right? Well, the Litecoin, I have a bit of problem with that. I'll tell you why. That was a triple. It's only one leg down. So by ideal, we should clear here. If it does, perfecto. At this stage, it's not on my favorites. So yes, it's a possibly a range. Definitely, everything is correct. We'll stay connected to this trend line, the last trend line developed, of course. And if we break it, start looking for the retraces and buys. So confirmation in a confirmation. If we manage to clear this low, that's the perfection. Then your buys are much more possible and safer. That's all. Okay. So that's all, guys, for today. I hope I answered your questions, your queries, your things you had. I wanted to explain the things that happened since yesterday to show you how we deal with things live. Always remember, guys, ask yourself the questions exactly like I ask you. Because that, when you ask yourself the questions, you can get yourself the answers. If you just stick to getting excited from what your eyes catch, there is a great chance there is a little bit of catch and it's not enough. Okay? Remember, ask yourself the questions. Yes, Euro Pound was covered in the beginning for the bullish reason. Okay? That's all, guys. Thank you very much for being here. And I wish you a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow. And of course in the groups. Bye for now.